play, because let's see those changes. We've seen summer, we've seen autumn, we've seen winter, and now we get to see spring, which I'm really excited about, because it's like autumn and spring are always some of my favourite seasons in the year. So because it's nice and cool, it's not too hot, unlike the baking heat we've had over the past couple of weeks. But where are we in the world?
So we are actually towards the sort of north end of the Lake District, sort of on the border of what we would consider the English versus Scottish part of our map. And yeah, as you can see, Ralph already mentioned it, but it's a radically different visual to obviously the winter that we showed you last week. So all of the leaves have started to return to some of the trees, some have sort of stayed skeletal and sort of give you that really nice difference in the silhouette interest in the world that is very specific to spring. We've also got loads more moisture sort of ambiently in the world, so it's our wettest season in Britain. That's represented in games. So you get a lot of that standing water, lots of the tumble mud that we talked about in autumn, but also the lighting model is also now updated with all the sky catchers that we got from the spring season in real life. So you get a slightly higher sun arc than you would in winter, so the days are slightly longer. You get a little bit more brightness generally to the environment. And also you get all these really lovely pops of colour, so you get all the wildflowers that start to carpet the woodland, all the trees start to explode with little blossoms.
We know how much you love trees.
I do love the trees, yeah. But yeah, it's a very fresh visual, and I think that's the thing for me that really typifies spring in Britain.
Yeah.
Is that really fresh, crisp feel, and most of that comes from the excellent lighting work that the guys have done upstairs.
I just noticed Andy just took his wing mirror out. It was just kind of like, that doesn't need that going around in spring. So we have seen like the big changes of like all the seasons over the past 4 weeks. One of the big things I want to know is how's that going to continue to change from after the launch of the game?
Yeah, that's a great question, because the last 4 weeks we've been showing kind of what the first 4 weeks, I guess, will be like when the game launches later this year. Everyone in the community will be taken through these seasons sequentially, just like in real life. But I think, and we mentioned this at E3, our commitment, I think, from this team to the people who are going to play the game is that the changes don't stop there. It's not just the 4 seasons will change in the ways we've seen over the last couple of weeks. The game is going to keep changing after launch as we continue to support it, as we continue to create new content for it, create new features for it, add stuff to the game. And really the point behind the seasons, their transitions, the timing, that weekly cadence of seasons post-launch is so that we can continue to deliver amazing stuff to this game. Some stuff that we have planned, some stuff I think that will come from feedback from the community post-launch, and not just for months, but I think for years after this game ships.
Yeah, which is really exciting as well. It's kind of like getting community feedback and seeing what they want as well. Which is why as well, if you're watching on Mixer, remember, get involved, ask any questions you have for Ralph or Ben about spring or anything to do with Forza Horizon 4. We can answer them right here and now. But also, last week we took a look at the winter map. And I know we also have the spring map, which is going to go out on the Forza Motorsport social channels. So it's at Forza Motorsport and also at Forza Motorsport Official on Instagram.
So worth looking at here, I think. I don't think we've shown the forest just yet. If Andy keeps driving and maybe goes a little bit off the track, I think there's probably an interesting thing. Definitely for people who have played Horizon games before, for people that have played Horizon 3 in particular, we've had a lot of feedback on how to put it, tree language, I guess, or smashable language we call it in the studio. It's something that we've actually worked on a great deal in this game. Basically, the feedback from 3 is that you don't know as you're approaching a tree if it's going to break or if it's going to stop you dead. And that gets pretty frustrating. That's something that we have spent a lot of time during this game working on. We've worked on a system whereby hopefully, and I think you can probably see it here, the thickness of trees is very clear as you're driving, even through a thick forest like this one, so that you always have a pretty good confidence level as to what's going to break when your car hits it and what's actually going to kind of break your car when you hit it. And as a result, and I'm going to challenge Andy to prove me right now, which might be a mistake, it's actually much easier to drive through wooded areas, even through dense forests like this, if you compare it maybe to the rainforest from from Forza Horizon 3, which was a pretty perilous place to try and drive through. I think most people ended up just taking the roads through it. It's actually much clearer and much more readable as a player in Horizon 4. So that's something, it's kind of low level, but it's something that we're pretty proud of, and I think players will appreciate when they really get into the game.
Yeah, it does look incredible as well. It's so much fun as well. Like all the trees, all the kind of like spring colours popping out, and just being able to kind of traverse through that world. Because I know I was guilty of that in Forza Horizon 3. Every time going through a rainforest, I just hit a tree dead, hit my rewind as much as possible, and try and find that perfect route through. So quite excited to try this out. But what else can people pick up with Spring, Ben?
With Spring, well, so I kind of already talked a lot about what.
All the colour. I saw the snowy mountain peaks in the distance.
Well, so that's true, yeah. So actually, you do get a bit of residual snow that sort of it recedes back up into the very peaks of the highest areas of the map. So you still get areas where there's a little bit of snow happening here and there. Also, like I know this is the sort of thing that I would personally get very excited about, Benny, as you know. But all the greens are a specific type of green. So Spring has like we actually went out with colour scanners and scanned all the values of all the leaves from the trees at different seasons, and they're much fresher and they don't sort of go to that sort of darker value of green, which again lifts everything up and makes everything feel slightly more fresh than summer, where everything becomes much more mature and also much more lush than the environment.
Right, well, Ben, thank you very much for talking to us as well. I know you're going to be returning in a little bit, but I think it is now time to move on to more. We've got loads more coming up on the stream as well, including having a look at the soundtrack. We've also got that epic grudge match with the brand new Team Adventure mode, along with having a deep dive into the audio of Forza Horizon 4 and the recording of the game's cover car, the McLaren Centre. We're also going to be taking a look at Edinburgh to explore the game's beautiful city. But right now, we've got some news on that soundtrack, which Ralph is going to talk us through, which I'm extremely excited about. So Ralph, take it away.
Yeah, well, that's right, and people have been on the chat in all three of the streams that we've done already asking about soundtrack. It's obviously something that people are really excited to hear about. Music is an incredibly important part of Horizon games. Going right back to the first game, music kind of sets the tone, it sets the atmosphere of the festival and of the driving experience. So I understand people are really excited to hear what's on the soundtrack. I'm gonna disappoint people by not revealing very much about the soundtrack. The music that's in it, that's still a couple of months away. That's something that runs right the way up till the game ships. But what we can do today is talk a little bit more about some of the radio stations that will be appearing in the game, which is great. I think we've got a bit of a graphic that we can stick up to show you the 6 radio stations within the game, and I can talk to each of them a little bit and tell you in particular who the DJs are going to be in these stations. So Horizon Block Party made its debut in Forza Horizon 3. It's kind of our party hip-hop station. With us being in the UK now, we've changed the DJ for that station. And actually the DJ is someone that you might well have heard of. Mr. Jam is Radio 1 and Radio 1 Extra DJ, and he has been good enough to come and be the DJ for Block Party in Horizon 4, which is great. He's done a brilliant job of that. From memory, the other 2 stations which have been in every Horizon game, Block Party and Pulse, are back. People love them. For me, they combine to create really the sound of Horizon games. Scott Tyler is back as the DJ for Bass Arena. I've forgotten her name. Somebody help me out. Amy Simpson, thank you, is back as the DJ for Pulse, and they are offering exactly the same kind of music that they have done previously, dance music in Bass Arena and chilled electronica in Pulse. What else? We've got Timeless FM has come back as well, including the Australian DJ Don Thompson has emigrated from Australia to stay in touch with the Horizon Festival, and an old favourite that skipped a game actually, Horizon XS. Is back. So that is our rock station this time. That's where you're going to get your big riffs. And we have a new DJ entirely, a guy called Malk, who is the DJ for that station. And then the final one that I wanted to mention, and it's particularly appropriate because I think you can hear the music playing in the background, is a record label that we've worked with for a couple of games now. They're really good friends of ours. Hospital Records return for Horizon 4. And I think they're even more involved with the game this time. The music you're hearing, and indeed the station which will be in the game, is one which features completely new music from that label. So even if you're massively into your drum and bass or into Hospital, this is music that you won't have heard before. And if you remember at E3, that demo we showed, the soundtrack to that was entirely soundtracked by Fred V and Graphics, an artist on that label. They came into the studio, we worked with them to soundtrack and craft the musical experience of that demo, and that will be the opening 10 minutes of the game.
So it's pretty exciting as well, because it's one of the things that I've always loved about Forza Horizon games is the music and kind of just spending time just going along like the road, like main roads, and just kind of enjoying it. So thank you very much for talking us through that. I'm really excited to kind of hear more and like listen to more as the soundtrack gets released as like closer to
Indeed it will.
the game.
Yeah.
So thank you very much. We've still got so much. Ralph will be joining us again shortly later on the stream. But we've got so much more coming up. We have Fraser coming as well to talk us through the McLaren Centre cover car, sound, audio. It's going to be awesome as well. And we've got loads more, including that epic grudge match, right, in the, oh God, the name's in the team adventure, and then also having a look at Edinburgh, which I'm really excited about as well as people. But Fraser, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
450 cars in the game. What's it like working on the audio?
It's a lot of work. As you can imagine, every game we kind of try and record as many cars as we possibly can, and we try and refresh the sounds that are in the game. Things that people can look forward to in this game, we've been out recording, I think some of the highlights, we had a V12 Ferrari, so we've got that in the game. You've got Andy hooning about in the Dodge Viper ACR at the minute, and that's got a really raspy actual V10 Dodge Viper engine on it, which sounds really cool. We've also been out and we've done completely end of the spectrum kind of 1920s vintage Bentleys, which are really kind of rumbly and kind of almost sound like they're falling apart, which is really cool. And every car has its own challenges, really. But obviously what people are kind of excited to hear about is obviously the cover car of Horizon 4, which is the McLaren Centre. For all of these cars, we kind of we go to an airstrip and we attach loads of microphones, and we kind of get the different perspectives of the car. We've
also got some like footage of you actually going on these days and like collecting this audio, which is really exciting to see as well, because it's fun kind of seeing that like kind of be put together. So here we are, the McLaren Centre itself, and you said something special about that car as well.
Yeah, so this is actually the carbon fibre version of the Centre, which is a lot more expensive than the standard one.
Yeah, 750 grand for the base version.
Well, I think this one's about $1 million actually. Yeah, McLaren were a great partner to work with on this. You can see they actually provided us with a 720 and a 540 to go out on the airstrip in Dunsfold and get loads of pass-bys and record the onboard sound of this stuff. It was a really great day. We got loads of authentic source, and that's one of the things that we really wanted to make sure in the game, that we got a really authentic sound for all of these McLarens. And I think we've kind of done it justice. A lot of people might assume with a V8 twin turbo that it, have a loud blow-off valve or something like that, but actually it's got a really nice, smooth, clean kind of just whistle to it, which is really cool.
Yeah, and also, but a McLaren Centre, 750 grand, $1 million, like depending on which one you go for. But you also worked on, you were telling us earlier about a car that you really, really loved, and I think we got some footage of you as well.
Yeah, this was a car that it's a new to franchise engine. It's never been in the games. The wheels of this thing were bigger than me. I mean, this thing was a beast. I think we got some exclusive footage.
Right. There we go.
Fortunately, we managed to get access to this tractor. And I think this is the first vehicle I've ever recorded where we could actually strap a man to the side of it to record it.
I would love to see you try and do that to someone with a McLaren Centre. I don't think you would have them afterwards.
I don't think so. Well, we did start off with a bigger team, and now
it's just kind of gone down one by one.
Yeah.
But it's also, so you've had 450 cars to work with, but with this game also having 4 seasons, how have you worked in putting the audio together across those 4 seasons?
So it's been a massive job. I think it's fair to say that it has been 4 times the amount of work. With a game like Horizon, we've obviously got the cars, we've got the music, and then a big part of the game is also the open world.
Yeah.
With it being the UK, I was really excited because we wanted to go out and we've got all this on our doorstep. So we wanted to visit every location in the UK and record in every single season. So we've been to the Cotswolds in all different seasons. We've been up to the Yorkshire Moors. We've done Edinburgh. I've been in Edinburgh Castle recording in the middle of winter, freezing cold. And it's not just seasons, it's time of day. So everywhere you go in the game, it sounds different depending on your location, season, time of day, and verticality, because it's one of the most vertical games that we've got.
Yeah.
So there's tons of stuff that changes. Like spring actually is my favorite season in the game, because I think we go from winter into spring, and winter has sort of like migrating geese and robins and crows, and it's kind of stark. And then you move into spring, and you've got lambs coming out. You've got sort of cows in barns, cockerels coming out 4 o'clock in the morning until 6 or 10 in the morning. So like the sound of the game really changes depending on season.
Yeah, because one of my favourite times was when we were looking at autumn, and now you were just going along, the sound of the leaves on the floor sounded amazing, and it kind of put you in that season. Yeah,
totally. I mean, we've had to work quite a lot on the new driving experiences that are in Horizon 4. Obviously, we've got deep snow, we've got deep deformable mud now. Like, I almost wrecked my car just while we were travelling around the country. I would like pull over, there's a patch of mud, and drive through it and get my car completely dirty, and also the audio designer really dirty as I drove.
What, he just stood there with a microphone?
He stood there with a microphone, it just splashed all over
just
him.
Like covered in mud. It's like, all right, we got it, great, move on.
Yep.
It must be so much fun though, because from the small amount of time that I've had hands on the game, the audio sounds exceptional. So thank you very much for spending time and talking us through it. Can't wait to see more as well. But we have got so much more coming from the stream. Big thank you to Fraser as well for talking us through the audio. Love the tractor and the McLaren Centre. But we have so much more, including that epic grudge match, which I am so excited to see on Team Adventure. We're also going to be taking a look at Edinburgh. And remember, we're going to be taking questions from you guys as well. So if you've got any questions, get them in the chat so that at the end, Ben and Ralph can come through as well. And if you've got anything about Team Adventures, we're seeing stuff, because we're going to be joined by Matt and AJ as well to kind of be going through everything. But kind of thank you very much for joining us, right? We are now here at the epic grudge match, right? First of all, though, tell us a little bit about Team Adventure.
All right, so Team Adventure is kind of a natural evolution of online adventure from Forza Horizon 3. So two of the big differences are going to be, well, firstly, it's team-based, as you can tell by the name. So it's going to be a 6 versus 6.
Yep.
And the other thing is that it's restructured to really be a properly competitive game mode. So in Forza Horizon 3, there were things like skills and clean, which kind of affected how well you were going to do. But this time round, it's just about how well you're doing in events, like, what place you're coming in the race.
Okay, and also this epic grudge match, right? So you're representing the test team, right? Yep. How do you think you're going to do?
Well, the test team play the game every day for the last nearly 2 years, and the designers just make it work. they just design it. We're the ones who play it all the time, so we should know all of these courses inside out. We should know all the dirty tricks.
So you should take this 3-0.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. So before we kind of get into the race itself, I think we need to kind of make a decision, right? Because your team is. Right, your team Dinosaurs. No, I keep calling you Team Dinosaur because it's Designsaurs.
Yeah, we're Team Designsaurs representing the design team.
Right, and then yours is
Simply the Test.
Simply the Test.
Simply better than all the rest.
Better than all the rest, right? So you've even got a tagline. You've even got to the left there of like, right, we've got a tagline. Right, we're the best racers. We've got this, and but however, right, Designsaurs does have Andy racing for them, who has been like kind of doing all the driving across these live streams. So. He seems to choke at important moments. He seems to kind of like let the stress get to him, so that could be a factor. But what we're going to do right now as well is run a poll in the Mixer chat, okay? Who do you think is going to win? Do you think it's going to be Team Test, right? Or do you think it's going to be Team Designsaurs, right? Get in there, vote ahead, and we'll see who wins. But shall we kind of start it up?
Yeah, let's.
So then we can kind of start talking through it. So then you can kind of explain to us everything we want to know about Team Adventure, because it's something that I am really excited about seeing. Because it looks really fun.
Yeah. So we've jumped in here. We're looking at it from Andy's perspectives on Team Designsaur, and he's just picked his car.
I love how Andy's got like a very upfront nameplate as well. It's just like, make sure you remember who.
Just so you know.
This is Andy's car,
this is Andy,
right?
By the way.
Avoid.
He's just sick of not being shown on the streams. People wants to make sure people remember his name.
You're just going to see like his face as on a little like on the license plate stuck around. like, spot around. So as we get into this game, right.
This really we get to see all the dinosaurs. So you get to see your whole team. You see they've actually made a team in our game as well, and they've got a team name obviously, and also a logo that you got to see there. And we're right into the first race, which is going to be a cross country around Mortimer Gardens, just kind of in the northwest part of the map. It's got some like Roman ruins. It's pretty interesting.
Right, and just before we get into this, event number 1, vote in the poll who you think is going to win the first event. Is it going to be Team Dinosaurs or Team Test? Vote now as we get into it, and we'll see who wins. I'm personally going for Team Test because, you know, apparently have the best drivers, and also Andy's not on the team as well, which is important. Okay, here we go. Right, so talk us through.
All right, so the first event is going to be a team race. So some of you that have played Forza Horizon 3 might be familiar with this. So basically how it works is every single opposing player that you finish ahead of, you score 100 points for your team. And also the person who comes first gets a bonus 50 points. So you can see all those points tallying up on the right there. And also it's all totaled up right at the top. And the team with the most points at the end wins, you see. The Dinosaurs obviously with a lead going at the start.
You know, it's going against what the poll's saying. Team Test is the one that feels like the audience feels is going to be the winners. So it's going to be interesting.
Backed by the will of the people.
Well, yeah, you play the game the most, but everyone as designers are always the best.
How are you going to motivate your team?
If they don't win, they're coming in at the weekend.
That's just kind of a cool way to do it. It's like, all right, guys, you need to put even more practice into the racing, so they better win, or even more time at the weekend in. So, as well as the score, what other things should people be looking out for during the team adventure mode?
I think one of the important things, as well as the score, is the way that the scoring is designed means that even if you're stuck in last place, all you really need to do is make sure you try and get ahead of at least one person on the other team.
Yeah.
So you know, there's no matter what position you're in, you don't need to try and win to be a contributing factor.
Yeah, because that's something that I think a lot of people find. If they're like dead last, they have a terrible start to a race, they're dead last, they're like, oh, I'm not going to be able to win this race now, so kind of just slow down and ease up and do that. But they're here, every single place matters. So if you're in 12th position, if you take one, it could be the difference.
Yeah, exactly. Doing an overtake from 12th to 11th matters just as much as 3rd to 2nd. So every single player is kind of equally important.
Have you seen like any tactics people have started doing already in like kind of play sessions as Andy's just crashing into people already?
I think someone crashed to a shed there, so I'll give Andy a pass on that. Andy, I think the main thing is that because it's a team race, it's really important you don't interfere with your own team.
Yeah.
Like, you're not just out for yourself. If you accidentally shove one of your teammates into a tree or outside of a checkpoint, that's going to be really damaging for your team. So you need to be really careful with that.
But absolutely do interfere with the other team.
Knock them off the road. Like I think I'd be a danger in this game because like I just crash into people and like it doesn't matter if they're on my team or the other team. It's just I'll just be like, all right, fastest way forward. I'd not be someone you'd want on your team, to be honest. All right, so we're coming up to the end of this lap right now, and at the top as well, you can clearly see who's winning.
Yeah, so there's a 150-point lead for design, obviously.
You're just like obviously right inside Adrian's going like, oh no,
designer.
Like what's going on? Okay, so end of the race, you've got Team Test, right? It's got 1,750 points, and Team Dinosaurs 1,900, which means the poll was wrong, all right? They went for Team Test, you sold them out, and now they've kind of ended up losing the race. Team Dinosaurs takes the first map, but what happens now, and what's the next step in the team adventure?
So an important thing to know about team adventure is it works as a best of 5. So that means it's the first of 3 points.
Yep.
And so we'll get to see here. The current score is 1-0 to design. And now we're going to go into the second event, which is going to be Free Roam Rush, which is going to be quite a different kind of team race. Once we get into it, we'll kind of explain how the difference is.
So what we'll do is we get into that. You've seen everyone play in the first race. Vote now in the poll for the second race, which is that Free Roam Rush. Okay, who do you think is going to win? Team Test or Dinosaurs? Vote now, and just kind of explain what we're playing for.
All right, so Free Roam Rush is kind of an evolution of the Drive to Event phase that was in Forza Horizon 3, but then it kind of didn't really contribute that much to the overall adventure, but this time it's a proper event that counts just as much as every other event in the adventure. And the key difference is it's a team race, but it's a team race with no checkpoints. So you can take any route you like to get to the end. So there's a lot of strategy in like what route you're going to take and whether you're going to stick to the roads or beeline it across the cross country.
Yeah, absolutely. World knowledge is a key factor for these parts because there's no checkpoints that you have to hit through. You just have to be the first to the end of the road. But you've got to know, is now a safe time to cut across country, or should I be sticking to the roads here?
I think it's also going to be really exciting with seasons, because seasons are going to change how you approach each of these races.
Absolutely. So, you know, in winter, obviously that big lake freezes, and that's a massive shortcut that opens up. Whereas, in fact, I think in this one they have to navigate around the big lake because it's not the quickest way to go.
Well, yeah, you know, I don't know how about you, but I think this kind of driving your car into a big pool of water isn't going to go too well.
It's not renowned for being speedy.
No.
Yeah.
All right, so what's going on now? So this is the first time they're kind of going across country.
So you can see there was the road was actually really slow in that case. So everyone just cut straight across the landscape and taking that shortcut to get ahead, which can lead to some interesting jumps, but it's all in good fun.
And we also saw those destructible trees just kind of like bouncing around, just like flying across the sky. Who is winning right here? It's actually Dinosaurs are winning this one, aren't they?
No, this Team Test is winning. So,
Yes, the blue team,
no,
Team
you
Test is
take it,
actually
yeah.
just by 50 points. So it's
You were behind
Close.
though. Like you were like you're kind of pulling it ahead, and now Team Test is actually starting to rack up as you just get crashed into.
yeah, that was Dinosaurs taking their own teammates out there, literally not listening to what Matt said to avoid doing.
after this, I'm going upstairs.
Right. That was close. And Andy just kind of had that decision of does he go right and then just kind of followed the Dinosaur straight across the side.
Yeah, he's managed to gain a bit of time there by taking that shortcut.
Which is not what we want really, because I am Team Test. All right, so it's working out.
We're still in the lead. So,
Okay.
I find as a
I think-
spectator, I'm just also getting as well as like looking at the wall, I'm just keep getting drawn to that top right corner where you can kind of see each team's score, which is just constantly going up and down like a ping pong.
Yeah, like Free and Rush is so variable, like it's so easy to just make one mistake, crash into a tree, accidentally end up in the middle of the lake. Easier said, happens more than you think. And you can lose so many positions.
or sometimes that shortcut that you take that leaves you in 12th for ages, all of a sudden you're just cut out ahead of the pack.
Can you use rewind in the free run rush, or is it kind of like a...
Yes, you can. We've actually made kind of a new version of Rewind that works in online races that just immediately pushes you backwards and no one else. So that's if you hit a tree, you can actually recover from it a bit easier now.
That's awesome. Okay, here we go. And we're now coming up to the third race. It is, which team has won this? Team Test has won the rush, which means it's 1-1, right? It's just what we want, okay? It's kind of gets tension going.
By a significant margin compared to that.
It was a charity win. We don't want it to be 3-0. People want to see more.
We lulled you into a false sense of security.
Full sense of security, come back. You did sell everyone, so you had the best drivers.
Yep.
But we're now coming up into survival, which is a brand new mode for Forza Horizon 4.
Yeah, exactly.
So once again, Team Test, right, was voted to win the last race. So the audience was right. The audience has got one right, one wrong so far. So this survival race coming up, once again, there will be a poll in the chat. Who do you think is going to win to take the 2-1 lead? Get involved. But what is survival?
All right, so this is an anything goes to adventure, which means it's a mixture of racing and playground games. And we're playing a brand new playground game here that nobody's seen before, which is called Survival. And so what Survival is it puts one team becomes a zombie team and another team becomes the team of survivors. So you can see the zombie team are the green players and the surviving team are the purple players on the leaderboard. The goal of the zombie teams is to hit all the survivors and infect them all at the same time as quickly as they possibly can.
Which is going to create a lot of carnage as well. So you've got a time limit on the bottom right-hand corner, which is 4 minutes per round?
Exactly, yeah. So they've got 4 minutes to try and do it. It's not very often that a team manages to last 4 minutes, but, you know, maybe design will manage to do that.
You sound optimistic. You're like,
Yeah.
maybe we'll do it.
Exactly, yeah. And so you can see on the leaderboard now, a couple of the survivors have gone orange, which means they're becoming infected. But the twist is they can actually get healed by crashing into their allies.
Is that what we just saw on screen there, where Andy like hit into his car?
Absolutely right.
Right. So what else have we got going on at the moment? So you can see on the right who's infected, who's alive.
Yes, I think that's one of the key things. You've just seen now that we've dropped from the design team having 3 infected people to having no infected people, and that's one of the big sort of changes in this mode from the solo version of Infected, in that the game can change from being nearly lost to you being back in full form, going for that sort of 4 minute timeout.
Yeah.
So you can have like a huge swing of events. Like you could kind of have this I think that's going to be a really exciting thing as a player as well, which kind of makes you want to hop on and play it, is that you know that you could be like the last person alive and you could just do like this epic comeback and like bring your friends back in. It's like, can you remember like Stuck in the Mud at primary school?
Yeah, it's a lot like that, yeah.
It's kind of like all you need is the mud as well.
Yeah, so I mean, that's another good example. We were down to just one survivor on the design team, and the testers let him get away.
You're dropping.
Yeah, and they all healed each other back up. This mode really is not over until it's over, which just makes it super exciting. And a team is just never out of the running.
One of the fun things about this as well is that if you're starting on the zombie team, you're not there trying to build up that sort of pack of people as you were in solo infected.
Yeah.
Where at the beginning of it could sometimes feel a little bit slow. This time you're starting with this huge group of zombies just absolutely chasing after the whole team all at once, and it just feels a lot more fun straight from the get-go. You're right at the really intense part of the action.
So we're just coming down to Mike is the last survivor to kind of tag in. There's 1 minute 30 left. Can he do something special?
Heal any allies?
He's getting chased by 200 people. It's like everyone's just clashing into each other. Is he going to be able to do it? No.
No.
Right, so you know what? That was a decent time though. 2 minutes 30?
Yeah, I think they survived for about 2:30, so yeah, it's pretty good. One of the super cool things is when there's only one person left, every single player is gunning for that player, so they want to get healed or get them.
You just have
Super
a massive panic attack. You look in your wing mirror and just like see like 11 cars just chasing you down the motorway. Just be like, all right, move. So we've got our next round now, right, which is...
So now we swap over. So the team with the zombies before, and now the survivors and vice versa. So now we're going to watch from Andy's perspective, who's now a zombie.
And one of the biggest changes is the mini-map, isn't it?
Yeah, so when you swap teams, one of the things that makes a big difference is the mini-map. So when you're on the zombie team, you can see all of the other players, whereas when you're on the survivor team, you can only see members of the survivors, so you can only see the purple players and the orange players. So you can get that, it gets a little bit nervy sometimes.
Yeah, so what we're going to do as well is just, we're going to bring some gameplay back up in a second, but the biggest thing with Team Adventure is it's just kind of, it is that competitive mode where you can hop on and it's how you feel in the team. What kind of advice would you give people hopping in for the first time?
So I'd say one of the key things is car choice is really important. We didn't get to see it, but you actually get the chance to see all the events that are coming up in the adventure at the start. And so you need to really carefully think about what events you're going to do. Like, is there any cross-country races? Maybe I should pick a trophy truck. Is there any street or asphalt races? I should think about them. And if you know the map really well, you might be able to figure out where the rushes go and plan accordingly.
Yeah, and you can also then, as well, you want to take into account the seasons too. So yes, it's a lot of cross-country events, but you want to make sure you've got the one that you've kind of tuned or tweaked to be really good on the snow and the ice. Or if you know that there's a really quick and easy shortcut that you'll make most advantage of in the free run rush, maybe you sacrifice some speed in a street race for extra speed in the free run rushes.
It's like planning ahead for the whole thing, because you can't change your car during the Team Adventure, can you?
Absolutely, yeah.
So it's kind of, you're going to get a different combination of cars depending on what you're going to be in the situation. Also, just a quick reminder for everyone watching at home, we are doing a cosmetic giveaway. We will be kind of getting back into the gameplay just in a second. But if you're watching over on Mixer, you have a chance of winning an in-game cosmetic. So get involved in the chat, ask some questions, let us know what you think. And we're going to get into that second round of the zombie survival. So you need to catch up.
Yeah.
Right.
So we managed to get back into it. So the design team is now playing the zombies, watching from Andy's perspective. They just need to get them as fast as possible. The time limit is set to the amount of time that the first team took, that's 2:30. And so they just, if the zombie team manages to get them all before the time is out, then the designers team's going to win.
Yeah, so at this point the test team doesn't have to survive the full 4 minutes. We just have to survive longer than it took for us to hunt down all of the designers, which I'm sure they will.
You've got a good chance as well, and we did mention the minimap earlier, but can we kind of talk that through now that we can see it properly top left? Yeah,
sure. So as I was saying, as a zombies, you can see from Andy's point of view, he can see all of the other players on the minimap. You can see his teammates in green, the other zombies, and you can see all the survivors in purple and orange.
Yep.
Whereas when he was on the survivors team, he could only see his survival teammates, which you it adds a layer of tension because you can't see where the zombies are. You just see your teammates flicking from purple to orange as they get picked off.
I think communication is going to be a big one as well, because I keep seeing everyone using the commands as well, just to kind of help each other out and kind of keep that movement away.
Or sometimes say boop.
Boop. Whatever you want to say. It's just like, did Spooky take someone out? Or, yeah, he did.
Yeah, exactly.
He is in the Dinosaurs. So it's getting close. There's a minute left. You've got Tess is down to 2 people at the moment.
But it's entirely possible we can hopefully turn it all around and start healing up some of the infected members of the team. Otherwise, this is going to be a
It's scary though. How do you approach this as if you get infected? Are you just going to like kind of sit and wait for your team to come get you? Or are you going to chase your team? It's going to be interesting to see how people kind of take to it.
Mm-hmm, yeah, that's absolutely where the communication really comes in. Like around the studio, we've been shouting to each other, like, slow down, speed up, like, and behind you, I need you to heal me. Like we're always shouting at each other around the office playing, because it just benefits so much from that kind of communication.
And he's just got to take 2 people out, like straight away, just 1, 2, tap. And you've got Owen is the last person standing. He has to survive for 18 seconds. All right, 15 seconds. All right, and. If I was Owen, I'd be very disappointed. I'd march upstairs right now and say, you're not having your weekend. Where was the communication? I backed you guys. The Dinosaurs are winning. 2:22 taken. All right, so we finished the 3rd round now. We've got the 4th race coming up, okay? Team Tess has got to win this.
Got to win this to stay in it. And
so what kind of race have we got for the 4th race?
so this is another free run rush event. So between each of the sort of circuit or point-to-point sort of traditional events, you'll always have a free run rush, which is the race to get to the start line, basically.
Okay. So for those of you who are watching, you can vote in the Mixer poll right now. Who do you think is going to win? It is currently 2-1 to the Dinosaurs. And that makes it 2-1 as well to the non-chat, because the chat have been backing Tess every single time, right? And the Dinosaurs are pulling it off, okay? You oversold Team Test, right? But you know what? They smashed the last kind of, they smashed this last time, so they could do it this time, okay? I'm not feeling confident now. I feel like I backed the wrong horse.
Yeah, Team Design didn't win the last run rush, but I think that was just a fluke. I think.
So one of the big things as well, when we saw just at the start of the race there, what determines the lineup?
So the lineup is just based on the endpoint of the previous event, and it kind of interlaces the team just to keep it fair. So like blue, red.
Yeah, okay.
And everyone gets set off facing towards the direction that they need to head.
This is also kind of, this is where if you're playing at home, you're going to start getting stressed out. Oh my god! Like, and that was just like, how has Andy actually pulled that off and not just crashed into a tree? Because that was definitely a tree that would stop your car. Also, we've got some different questions. We've got some questions coming in from the audience right now. Matt Ignat says, how many different types of adventures are there?
So there's 3 kinds. So there's racing, if you just want to do racing. There's games, if you just want to do games. But what we're doing is anything goes, where it's a mixture of the 2.
So you can kind of get different styles.
Yeah.
And there's also sort of ranked versus unranked.
Yeah, actually, there's essentially 3 modes, which are kind of the same, but ranked modes. So that's always 12 people. You get skill-based matchmaking. We've got skill-based leagues for those, and special rewards for people that manage to climb up the league. So I'm really excited people get stuck in with that.
I'm quite excited for that. Anytime I hear anything like competitive and ranked, I'm just like, okay, all right, I'm in. I'm involved, especially in something like this, because I think this is so different and so exciting, because it is that kind of best of 5 kind of round, so you can have those big moments and those comebacks, which are really exciting when you're playing with a group of your friends as well. It is close right now. Actually, I'm saying it's close. The Dinosaurs are pulling away from it.
Up until about 5 seconds ago, Tester in the lead.
Like, that's what I said. As I said, all right, it's close. Oh wait, it's just swung the whole way the other way. It's now gone Test. It's like kind of left or right. It's like who comes up with the best shortcut.
Yeah, that's the thing with free run rushes, is the different shortcuts can pay off or sabotage you at different moments. So it's really hard to tell who is winning until right near the end. But it seems like the Dinosaurs have got a nice lead, so doing pretty good.
You're doing quite well. It's because Murtag has just kind of got that locked up right now. It's the middle of the park. It shows how important it is. It's not just who's winning, because like you've got Chappie and Tanya getting 1,000 points for you combined, and then Murtag has got 650, and it's just that kind of mid-section where you've got all the players at the bottom of Team Test.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is what we were saying. Like, it's really important just for 1 or 2 of the back-ended Test team to overtake and gain that extra 100 points just by taking over 1 extra person.
If I was Tanya, I'd be knocking Murtag off the road right there. I'd be like kind of getting a little swipe. Right, this is close, 75% of the way, and this is, do we go to a map 5 or do we stay on, is it a 3-1 finish? Right, let us know in the chat quickly. It's not, we don't have time for a poll, but who do you think? No.
Just don't hit a tree.
What do you mean don't hit a tree? Well, you're back in the dinosaurs.
Yeah,
Well, I'm just like, hit a
exactly.
tree, hit a tree. He just nearly went, I think if that went for a few seconds longer, that'd have been over. But that is a 3-1 finish. Right, to be fair, Team Test smashed the first one, and then in this free roam rush, you got actually beaten worse than the other one.
Yeah.
You can't be the people that designed the game, I'm just saying.
But it's unlucky, but that is Team Adventure. It's something that people are going to get their hands on from day one.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. I'm super excited for everyone to play it. I think that you guys are really going to like it. I know you guys have been asking for a mode just like this, and I really hope that we've delivered on what you guys want.
I'm really excited. Thank you so much for coming and talking to us as well and showing it for the first time. Cannot wait to get my hands on it and try it myself. Survival especially. I think I'm just going to be hooked. But guys, we've got so much more coming up on the stream. Big thank you for joining us and talking us through Team Adventure. But we're now going to be rejoined by Ben and Ralph as well to have a look at the wonderful, wonderful Edinburgh, which is going to be pretty exciting to see because it's the first city that we're going to be seeing in Britain. So Ralph, Ben, thank you for coming back as well.
Hi.
Who did you have backed?
Like I said earlier, the dinosaurs, who I believe won.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they
Right?
did.
You know,
They did.
like we're just
Pretty exciting stuff, isn't it?
let's just move sweetly on, right? We were wrong. Andy's just come back with a big grin on his face as well. It's like yes, we won. But Edinburgh. Shall we? How are we going to get to Edinburgh?
We're going to drive, Benny. We're going
Really? We're not going to fly.
We're going to drive right the way to Edinburgh, yeah. We thought we'd save this for last, just out of badness, I think, actually, because people have been really excited about seeing it through these streams, and it is really cool. It's a super cool city. I think it's the best city we've done in a Horizon game. This isn't actually. I don't think we've shown this in the streams before. That's Banbury Castle, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're at the coast actually again, which I don't think we've actually seen, but there you go. So that's Banbury Castle. There's a big old British beach over there to the right.
It's actually another gameplay arena.
It is.
Yeah.
It is, and if we drive up, this is sort of the east coast of the world that we've built. Eventually, we will get to Edinburgh, and it's probably worth mentioning just like why we have cities in Horizon. We didn't have any cities. We had a biggish town in one, but it really
Main town
was what it was called. Yeah, only town.
It was the main town. Yeah.
But from 2 we had Nice in the south of France. Obviously in Horizon 3 we had Surfers Paradise, and I think it's a really important component to a Horizon world now. I know a lot of people really love the experience of driving in a city. It gives you quite a different style of gameplay from what Horizon's predominantly about the thrill of the open road. That's what we always kind of set out to achieve. But certainly there's a really cool gameplay when you're driving around a city, particularly a city you recognise. And Edinburgh certainly for us ticks those boxes, and it's really cool to have it in the game.
I think also while we're driving up, because I know that it's been one of the biggest questions as well, is why not London? Like, yeah, I'm a Londoner, so I'm like, why not London?
So London's a great city. Everyone knows what a great city London is. It's also absolutely massive, and it's also like incredibly, how to put it, like unique. Right? When you get anywhere near central London, every building is completely different, and every building is completely iconic. And really, the amount of work, I guess, that would be involved in recreating London would mean you probably didn't have any time left over to go build the rest of the game. I think you would probably have to devote an entire game to London to do it justice, and also in so doing you would probably fundamentally change. And there's Edinburgh.
As you just lost
that's a pretty cool way to reveal Edinburgh.
Make an entrance.
And in doing so, you would really change what the game's about. If your game was all street racing and cities, then suddenly you're making a game like Midnight Club, which is brilliant games, but not the game that we have ever set out to make or really necessarily want to make. Like I say, Horizon is about the thrill of the open road, it's about driving on the best driving roads in the world, and the fact that we can incorporate a city like Edinburgh, which is obviously smaller than London, but I think no less iconic, no less beautiful. It fits our game really well.
And talking about like, iconic locations, where was that we just jumped from? Like, it's one of the most like it's iconic for you.
I mean, that was Arthur's Seat, which is a kind of a big rocky hill outside Edinburgh, which is quite famous if you are living in Edinburgh.
And affords great views of Edinburgh.
It does,
as you just saw, yeah. But it's I think the other stuff that's worth talking about when it comes to Edinburgh is how cool the road network is in this particular urban environment in this game. So before with Surface Paradise, it was quite a modern high-rise city, and it had that very grid-like road network, which afforded a certain type of experience. I think what's great about Edinburgh is the roads have obviously built up over time. There's a lot of history associated with this location, and it creates these really interesting pieces of road network that the level designers have been able to leverage and create some really unique races that I don't think we would have been able to create in an urban environment if we were in another sort of more modern.
Yeah. Like, what other major locations are there which you would say in?
So
in
let's point out. So that's the Scott Monument. So we're on Princess Street, which is the main thoroughfare in Edinburgh. The street. It's the main street in Edinburgh, and obviously it has many famous buildings on it. Not least of which is obviously the castle, which is just over there. Andy's driving away from it now, which is. Useful, but
he's taken the scenic route.
He is.
Taking this nice loop. While we're doing this route, we've actually also got a question from the chat as well, from Timberwolf. Is it true there are businesses you can use to make money, or is it just another fake rumour? Especially as we're going up to Edinburgh Castle, which costs a lot of money.
It does cost a lot of money, and actually we revealed the answer to that question just a couple of minutes ago, I think, when we drove past. One of the Horizon stories which involves a player business, so that is not a fake rumour. You can.
It's not fake news.
It's not fake news.
It's real news.
Part of as part of some of the Horizon stories. To get into and play those stories, you have to go by a business, and the one that we just passed is called World's Fastest Rentals, which involves you buying. I believe a supercar rental business, and is that which is obviously to allow you to go drive supercars for fun, which is kind of the point of Horizon games. And once you bought that business, and as you progress that Horizon story, you will earn money from that business, and you will see that come into your account every time you log on.
Okay, and then hopefully earn enough money to buy Edinburgh Castle in the long run for it as well. Dirk Michaels also asked, does surface water impact driving like ice in winter?
It does, yes, as it has done in Horizon games since we introduced it in Horizon 2. Yes, so absolutely. The physics of a wet road is something that we model and something that we replicate in the game, and you will feel. As Andy is probably now, that you need to drive a slightly different way when the roads are wet.
So also, one of the biggest changes in Horizon is day and night cycle. I think we're going to head over to a race so we can kind of see Edinburgh at night.
Yes, we're going to do a street race, which Andy's going to drive up to in a couple of seconds. And our street race thread in the game, they're all night races that it's appropriate time of day to be doing some street races, right? And Edinburgh in particular looks really, really stunning at night. There's a lot of work that we've done under the hood to really put a lot of new features into our night lighting model that we've never had before. So we're really, really proud of it, which is why we're going to be showing off in a couple of seconds. So I think Andy's just come around this corner here where the event start is, just down here.
Here we go.
So yeah, so we did show you a little bit of night in last week's stream.
Yeah.
But obviously Andy failing to hit a bonus board time and time again was probably not the best.
I think they mentioned that in the chat.
Yeah, that was.
It's your time to redeem yourself. It's redemption.
So I thought it was only fair to show everybody what night looks like when that's not happening, and also in Edinburgh where we've got lots of really cool things going on. So as I said on the previous stream, we've got true shadow casting light style from the car and the environment, which is a feature for the Xbox One X. We've also got all of that stuff rendering it into the car bodies and reflecting off all the materials in better ways than we've ever been able to before. So you'll see all those pings coming off the metalwork. We've also got these really cool flares, which are a nice sort of, they're obviously our checkpoints for the race, but they also demo some of the cool lighting features that are going on off of those as well. And as you can see, Edinburgh itself is just a super cool place at night. So all the shop lights have turned on, all the street lights, all of the uplighting on all the sort of major monuments, which is a real feature of Edinburgh. So one of the things you'll always see if you Google Edinburgh on sort of Google search is all the cool uplit castles and monuments and things. So that's something that our lighting artists have been able to have real fun with this time around.
It makes you really want to go and visit Edinburgh. I'm just kind of like noticing that because it's a city I've never been to, and it just looks absolutely stunning.
Yeah, it's a beautiful place. You should totally go.
I will. It'll be next on my trip. We've also got another question from the chat where Beardia Bread asks, "What's the most common weather?"
To be fair, I think we've really tried really hard to curate a nice balanced experience for everybody. So we've tried to make sure you get a bit of everything. You get overcast skies, as some people would assume would be the majority of the weather in Britain, but as we've sort of proved over the course of these streams, you also get some really gloriously sunny days as well, amazing sunsets. There was a quote by the famous painter Turner, who said that Britain had 4 skies in one sky.
You're bringing out a famous painter quote.
There you go. That's what I do. Everybody loves me for it in the studio, especially Ralph.
This is the first one I've heard. Why have we not heard these quotes earlier?
Because I've been told not to do it. I'm joking.
Fair enough. It's one of those things though, I'm quite excited to see the change of weather as well. It's just kind of like when we went into that cockpit view, that kind of different reflection of the lights. But that is the end of that race right there, and we're coming up. If you guys have got any questions as well, just before we kind of wrap up the stream, because it's kind of sad. This is the end of 4 weeks. It's like it's gonna start tearing up and kind of that moment, because every single week we've had a chance to take a look at a different season, different cars, different parts of the world, and it's been incredible. But is there any moment that's kind of really stood out for you?
Many moments.
all the bugs that we've revealed to you over the course of each week.
As Ben and I sit here.
It's like, why is that happening?
No, it's been a lot of fun. Honestly, it's not been something we have ever done before. We've been learning as we go. Apologies for that, but it's been a ton of fun. It's been great to hear the feedback from fans and from viewers on the game. It's been exciting to show what we've been working on for the last couple of years. Because generally speaking, we don't do anything between E3 and Gamescom, and this year we have. So it's been a great experience. Thank you to everyone for watching. I think from everyone at Playground, it's been great to get the feedback, and yeah, it's been good.
Yeah, and importantly, when are we next going to hear more and see more about Forza Horizon 4?
Right. So it's only a couple of weeks to Gamescom. Man, it really comes up on you, doesn't it?
It sneaks up,
doesn't it? We will be at Gamescom. We will be there with the game. We will be there showing more stuff, talking about more stuff.
Yeah.
And then after Gamescom, really you're on the freight train towards launch. So I'm sure there will be a ton of things happening post Gamescom in the run up to launch, which is October the 2nd. October the 2nd on Xbox One and Windows 10, and also obviously on Xbox Game Pass on that exact same day. And if you're an Ultimate Edition owner, you will be able to play in early access on the 28th of September, I think.
So it's not that far away now, really.
Isn't. It really
it's like Ben's got his face going, not far at all. But I think I'd just like to say on behalf of the chat as well, thank you so much for showing so much of the game, so many things to look forward to. It's been an awesome few weeks, and there's been so much to kind of take in and kind of go back and watch and just kind of look forward to kind of getting hands on with the game, because from what I've seen and what I've played, it is absolutely stunning. So thank you so much as well from you and the whole team for over the past 4 weeks. It's been so much fun. I hope you guys at home have also enjoyed it. Make sure to let us know what you think, and also remember, there is a chance to win that in-game cosmetic item. And yeah, thank you so much for everyone here from Playground Games. And that is Forza Horizon 4, and that is the end of looking at all the seasons. So we will see you soon. Bye. What's up, guys, and welcome to the Forza Horizon 4 live stream from Playground Games. I am joined by Ralph.
It felt like now is the time that we should start showing them more of this enormous game.
Ben, I know you love the trees.
Oh, I do. We spent a lot of time completely overhauling all of the rendering work that we put into our foliage. So all of our foliage shaders now do some really cool things, like they model the transmission of light through leaves, they model the specular across individual leaves.
Obviously the seasons will change the driving experience, and at its most extreme in winter you're going to have ice, you're going to have snow. That's going to change up the way you tackle corners, the kind of cars you take into races.
Player houses, what are they?
There are 12 houses. There's like a huge variety. So when you start the game, we kind of give you one after the first hour or so. And then from there, you're free to go explore, discover them. Some of them are really well hidden. So my favourite is just deep in the woods. It's this huntsman's lodge.
Yeah.
So if you kind of fancy yourself
as
like a woodsman.
Is drone mode still a thing?
Drone mode is still a thing, yeah. Probably worth mentioning that this whole stream has been done in Horizon Solo. So, we obviously talked about how the game is a shared world game. It would be mostly online, I guess, is probably a good way of describing it.
The objective we've come up with here, okay, is it's the first one to get it into the sheep into the horse in the quickest time. Right, there we go.
I feel like maybe
they're running away from
They're
you.
canny, these sheep.
You've completely lost them. They've just disappeared.
Actually, one other thing that's worth calling out there is we now have this view as standard on all of our cars. This is brand new.
Oh, this is...
Yeah, so this is something that we did for the E3 demo last time. So it's looked really great if you're using a wheel setter at home. So now everybody's got that option.
But it is on all cars now. I think I am right.
That is correct, yeah.
We're in the Highlands. We're in the north of the map, which we haven't really shown anyone yet, in an area of the world that's kind of bits of beautiful Scotland, right? We're going to show, by popular demand, the world map. So that's where we are, sort of northeast of the world. I know a lot of people were asking about the Goliath and whether it was going to return. If you notice there, it has.
We've started up at the top of the mountain, as we saw, and we're coming down into this beautiful valley. Big slow-mo jump there. Being the size of what it is and how hovercrafts move around, they do drift a lot, which is going to prove a bit of a challenge for a player.
What can you do in this shared world?
Some of our team upstairs are helping us out demo this today. When the game launches on October 2nd, you'll be able to join with up to 72 people on a server. You can still absolutely race against your avatars in races, but when you're in the open world, there's an emergent fun and a character that real people can bring that you just can't create with an AI.
Also Ghosts is this really awesome way of just making our online world feel kind of super welcoming to everybody. Because one of the things that is not nice when you go online is people crashing into you, is kind of people griefing you if you're trying to be still or take a photo or something like that. So what Also Ghost does is it says if somebody is not your friend, is not in your convoy, and you kind of haven't allowed it, they can't grief you at all. You will just pass straight through them. What happens here is every hour the server says, for anybody who wants to take part in this, get over here, you get the little message, you can set a route there, and a kind of radius appears on the map.
Do skill songs return?
Skill songs, yes, they do very much return. Particular favourite of mine. I will not spoil how you get them because you will unlock them in a slightly different way.
This is inspired from a real-life off-road adventure park, and it's translated really well. It's definitely one of the most fun areas in the game, I think, to play those playground arena type game modes like Infected and King.
The mud looks incredible.
So there's a system that analyses the whole world for different dips and divots and finds out where water would collect.
For me, it is the most visually different season.
It's the biggest visual change, as Ralph said, so that comes with a whole new set of challenges. And as you can see, this is the north of the map, so we've got some real heavy, dense snowfall going on here. The more elevation you get in the world, you'll get thicker snow. As you get a bit more south, you'll get like less snow, but maybe more frost, more wet roads, that kind of thing.
This is our new way to earn skills and then spend those skill points on cars. And we decided, let's add a skill tree to every car. So drifting, wreckage, air, then you bank all of those points. You then earn skill points to spend here. You now get daily challenges. So they're like bite-sized challenges that you can do. The weekly challenge is all about getting into like a particular kind of special car. Do all 4 and you get all of the Forza points. And just wait for the perfect item in here that you want to get.
How has it been kind of working with the team and like kind of getting this all put together?
Like our job is to mainly focus around like the presentation of the game. So we're looking at like menu systems, the HUD. Our menus are a lot more flexible, which is great because it allows us to be a lot more creative.
Can you talk us a little bit more about the white space?
Yeah, it's been a lot of work. You can kind of see it there in the background. One of the things we really wanted to do this time is be able to control the lighting conditions. Some cool stuff to look at while we're waiting for everything to fall into place and load.
Can we talk a little bit about the bonus boards?
Let's. It started in the very first Horizon game. We've found the fun in it. We've found the different types of gameplay that can be involved in finding and smashing a bonus board, of which there are usually about 150 in the game.
I think we're going to the first one. All right. Do you reckon he's going to do it first try? Right.
So just to be clear, it's up in that top pipe there.
Here we go. Is he going to do it? No. There's too much left.
Feels really familiar, doesn't it?
No, hold on.
Oh.
No, it's too short.
In order to...
Oh, there we go. Right, we got the first one. Round of applause.
Play it on Xbox One.